Welcome everyone to more live Linux distribution development here on our channel. Let's switch on my studio light. Can we save this 11 watts of LED? Maybe not. So, Rust regression, right? We have the problem that Rust stuff doesn't build here, cannot represent difference across sections. I'm a little bit wondering that was not yet solved upstream, so we are currently, actually I wanted to change a setting, don't I? Forgot to change a setting here actually. So basically, I can also change that in a second probably. Yeah, I can do this in a moment. Yeah, wherever. Darn. Anyway, so yeah, we need to tackle that eventually. I'm like super frustrated. Like 25 years I do this, starting with GCC 295.2, and like every month something's broken, right? And if you do this, if you're young and naive, you're 18 or stuff, then and you can pull all-nighters after another. But after 25 years, it is getting really frustrating that like you put so much elbow grease, sweat and tears into your fancy Linux distribution, and at the end of the day, upstream ruins stuff every month. It is super frustrating, right? So other people found, thankfully, other issues. I'm also really irritated that some other people. I mean, the issue is of course that we are running the latest and greatest, and other people are more clever and wait half a year or so for people like us live on YouTube solving this. So here are a couple of patches. So the really frustrating thing is also that despite all my overclocks and stuff, previous video, it easily takes 15 minutes to build, right? So here are various patches that we could try out. I mean, so I could, like, the best thing would have been if I bisected this, right? I believe someone bisected that here. Bisected. So I'm not 100% sure that our issue is what they are facing, but probably it is. So they say they could bisect it to this. When CU compile unit or so attaches some ranges for a subprogram or an inline code. By the way, from who is it? Is it from Apple? iOS 7, wait a second, LLVM Rustc 17 init? Wait a second, why is this 17? Why is this 17 and that is 16? So we could try to revert that, and so the super frustrating thing is that it easily takes, like on this massively, previous videos, no better cooled, overclocked, undervolted, boost optimized Ryzen 1750X, not X3D. Excuse me. It's a rainy spring here, thankfully. So I'm again rolling over my... Fun fact, I already ruined one micro HDMI cable, constantly rolling over it. I probably need better cable management. So unfortunately this takes now 15 minutes easily. We need to build LVM. We at least need to build LVM, maybe LLD and Rust. So that is, and then Firefox, right? So if we calculate 5 minutes LVM, 5 minutes Rust, and 5 minutes, or it's actually 6 or 7 or 8. So yeah, this is where I probably, did you shall I subscribe? Turns out I need a freaking Threadripper, right? Yeah. Maybe I should explore using WLS. Also, I really hate giving Amazon any more money. But yeah, maybe we should build this on some big ARM, Altera, whatever, 128 core ARM things. But I kind of transitioned from data centers to in-house because then I have amazing hardware. Otherwise I give also like building your Linux distributions that you don't make much money with, and then giving hundreds euro a month for continuous compilation integration. So we could revert that and see if it fixes this thing. Here's also quick patch to add DIEs to parents earlier and test switching over the right unit only around and test switching over to the right unit only around the unit specific operations, which is set to mentioned in this updated. So yeah, we can choose between reverting that. I mean, and again, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just checking every week because checking this. Because the right thing, did I finish the other sentence? The right thing would have, of course, been to bsec that like 3-4 weeks ago when this first occurred. But again, each bsec I would have actually had, I mean, maybe I should do that. Maybe it would have been the better time invested and spent. But I basically would have to tightly optimize because to bsec that, it doesn't scale if you rebuild everything, right? So for that, I would need a better test driver to not only build one T2 package, because obviously it doesn't scale if each bsec step takes nearly 20 minutes. So I would have needed to use these partial sources and some clever scripting, because all the environment needs to be sound, right? It needs to be perfect, all the cross-compiling steps. I mean, maybe we try both. Maybe we first try if reverting this. By the way, is this in which files is it even? ISM printer draft. I'm slightly wondering though that. Oh wait, this is the wrong. This was the initial. By the way, where is the freaking author? Is it Apple because it mentions Swift for Swift import app-kit? Who is the freaking wise? Ah, here is Diane committed. Is committed. Is this Apple? I don't. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who did it. Would just have been interesting too. Now, this loaded just was a bit slowish there. Was anyway not what I wanted. How did it work? Was it patch? Patch it was. So this is the original patch. And if we are super unlucky, it doesn't even apply, right? I will probably not spend, what do we have lunging around here? Okay, we can use it like this. So we need to revert that. For that I blocked a long time ago. Permanently revert patch, because even oh darn, I contribute so much, I don't even find anymore instantly what I... Darn it. Yeah, permanently reverting patch. Reversing, I call this reversing. So yeah, let's revert that with interdiff. I hope I have interdiff installed. That was D2. Let's hope that fixed off. Let's keep this just in case, and yeah, let's try to build it. I'm using ARM because currently I can reproduce it with ARM, and somehow with size optimization x86 it does currently not show. And also the wrong thing. So we need, let me think. So we need the native cross compiler. So probably we need 0 LLVM. Do they have another release by now? Ah, cool. There's also patching file LLVM test. Next bit deletes a file which doesn't exist. What the heck? Patching file of object writer. Oh, this was mine. Okay, this because this is bloody mono repository. Yeah, 2020 even. I need to remove the patch level there. hotfix dwarf stuff. Because they're mono repositories, they have everything in one repository. And we build single tarballs. Let's try that again. Because why do I build that in? Or in tempfs? No, still doesn't. Failed at 1. So I believe it. So yeah, all the patch applies except this unit test. And we don't need that, so for whatever reason did I not sure why but it just doesn't matter. If I looked at that wrong, I think for some reason it is not there. Doesn't matter. Basically we don't need to, because we're not running the unit test. Like if we would run the unit test, we should patch that too. But yeah, now comes the boring part of waiting so long. The only other optimization, of course, would be building with some C cache. Of course, we will do other stuff while doing so. So that is ARM. Firefox, let's just test that we tempfs, yeah, size limit, let's make that 0. So for this we waste a little bit performance. 32 threads. Maybe we should have more diagnostics here with in tempfs here, but yeah. So, of course, while doing so, we could do other stuff, or should do, obviously, excessively multitasking. Welcome, everyone. But we could check, so the usual things, like Rustc. So Rustc also has a regression, theoretically. Oh, this is also amazing. Theoretically, yeah, so 168 somehow doesn't bootstrap for me. It does not for me build this Canadian cross-compiled thing. It worked. The recurring theme, this is my growing frustration, right? I patch here stuff to work day and night, all the combinations, and then the safest languages break itself. Yeah, I should. And I should also debug that, but I hope that 169 will magically build again. Yeah, what we probably should do is somehow lots of basically debug why some stuff doesn't auto-update. The question is only how I want to do that. I noticed lots of Git stuff still does not match. I is 128. So why does this not update? Yeah, why does this not match? Source update uses, but probably so it's using this URL. This is this URL or not? Why does this not use this? Why does this not match anything? Tree stuff. Is it not a top? Oh, this is strange. Does it get something else and uses tar? That is funny. This view clearly includes, or is it dynamically loaded? Funny that this starts with so many spaces, apparently. So don't tell me this is dynamically loaded with JavaScript, because I think at least with GitHub it is. GitLab it is. Super annoying. So it should be 0.28. This doesn't match anything, darn it. So yeah, the modern so I mean now I would need to debug what JavaScript, but here is script cross-origin anonymous. Defer. So yeah, there's lots of JavaScript. So this is really unfortunate. That certainly explains. I was already wondering, like, why does this not match anything? And I mean, yeah, 2023 I probably next need to script like not like use curl like 2023. You need to use a full web browser like Firefox and. I wonder if that, by the way, did this already, you know what, this could be the icon. Let's see if this view, this has 0.28, does it? Ah, there it is. Okay, then I could, I mean, it's not super ideal, but maybe why not? And this is how, like, day after day, like, well, you fix one thing, you fix another thing. Maybe they also changed their JavaScript and front and back end stuff and so on, because I am relatively sure it worked a year ago, right? So much to why don't we get updates anymore? So, yeah, everyone changes their JavaScript, obviously. CV, where did I? So GitHub. What did I? GitHub releases to. Basically, text, what did I? Okay, this is build, then we need, let's better build LLD, I'm not sure, because once I didn't rebuild that, and I mean it should not write probably. Yeah, let's better spend 1 minute build time than be sorry that it's missing. So text, did I curl text or was this text? Hey, that does something amazing. So LLD, then so Rust cross compiler, that will take another 5 minutes. Something. Oh, also we need this in one Rust. Let's wake data off screen for less password exposure, MAC addresses, and other fun stuff. You will see it in a second though. So basically I probably could commit this because I mean what I also could do is, but okay, it probably, I mean I could use both URLs, but it probably also doesn't improve things because it clearly doesn't work anymore. Where are my, there is my, so many tmaxes. So misc share until of course some months in and they will change the text to load dynamically maybe. This is of course, not necessarily of course, but this might fail some other, oh wait, what did, no, oh, I had here already changes. I had here already text, interesting. Okay, so this doesn't improve even so much to commit early and often. So this probably will not even change a thing. But good that we talked about it. Yeah, I basically should, I mean, I said it before this year, it will be the year of quality of life improvements to make T2 more popular so that way more stuff just works. So it also means I need to put a little bit more work in this data AI because this needs to work way more reliable because obviously it doesn't scale for none of the 1962 Linux distributions that everyone does this stuff manually. Kind of feeling sorry for other Linux distributions where they have manual labor going through all this stuff here. And so the sad thing is, so if this hopefully fixes a thing, reverting this debug info, I mean, sure, I could, yeah, I wanted to say I could still test the other one, but maybe I don't, like if this fixes the issue already, maybe I just leave it. It certainly makes no sense for me to do continuous integration and testing for all the other Linux distributions. So if it works, I probably just leave it where it builds. So what's yours is doing? Has this even built? Oops. Best without all those typos. What even was new there? Verilog out of bounds checking for struct union members, enum values support signed attribute values, send ECP IO pet. I really love that they release often, or they had a time like 2 years ago where they didn't release something for 2 years. I really love also like for bisecting, right? If stuff doesn't work, you much easier. I mean, not only you, like instead of having for 2 years nothing and no release and stuff, also release early release often gives you all the 1,000, 10,000 testers worldwide who will much faster scream if something breaks, and then it's also much easier to bisect instead of 20,000 revisions over 2 years, some hundreds or so revisions. I can also like that, by the way. Am I logged in? Why can't we like this? Well, whatever. Modern web. Oh wait, so this is actually, we're building the Rust version. I didn't even want to build this Rust version, but it doesn't really matter. This Rust version, as I mentioned, the only constant is change and regressions. So this Rust version doesn't fully bootstrap for me, meaning the cross compiler for me is not able to compile the Canadian cross compiler, meaning like on x86 building then the ARM64 native compiler built. Of course it built, it was just kind of built it, so do we need explicit Firefox? Oh, by the way, is there a new release? We can also check that. But for the Firefox test, it resulted in exactly the same error, despite Rust 168 not being able to fully Canadian cross-compile bootstrap. But the actual build error for Firefox was the same. Let's see what happens now. I hope I rebuild enough for this to have effect. Firefox might be one of the other packages. There is actually a tiny little update. Maybe I should include the release note thing here, because I also need to. Even this probably just came dynamically loaded, right? Fixed bug where cookie data appears to be set in the far future after updating Firefox, cause cookies to be intentionally purged. Okay, that's the most important bug. But of course we take all bug fixes we can. Actually, right, I wanted to. So yeah, can also show you the matrix. I wanted to change here, actually, live streaming setting. Yeah, promoting subscription by only you need to be subscribed. And I only uncovered the setting yesterday or so. Oh, I also have the video running. That is of course optimal. Just data find some updates. VTE not the most. I probably should mix this with Repology. To mix in both data sources. Where do I even have the? How did I do that there? Maybe I did do that there. Let's see if we have already some result, because Firefox stuff runs along in parallel. Only 3 minutes in. Section. So basically this. Do we have already some? This happens in gcrust. But I'm also really surprised that the Firefox people, like the Firefox and Rust people, in one way it is crazy how, I mean, they switched to LVM nightly, I believe, in Firefox, but LLVM nightly, also the new LLVM version, I believe. Potentially maybe, but for me it is crazy that it for sure took now 2 weeks. Probably yeah, T2 remains not only the best, T2 remains our amazing Linux distribution, the most sophisticated way to test your system stability, right? All the undervolting, overclocking, the one thing, like even if it passes memtest 86, the one reliable thing to find systems instability is, if it survives the embarrassingly hammering load of compiling T2, then it's probably fine. And the other thing is like finding software regressions, right? Like nothing like rebuilding the whole open source world here. And yeah, like this. So this is building Rust stuff already here. Embarrassingly parallel, of course. And the last thing will be gcrust. It's quite some warning, because obviously. The other thing we could check, I noticed with GCC 13 or whatever, memtest fails again. Nothing like the memtest, like after 6 years, the first release. That builds or like works again, also like fully rewritten. And 610. Do we have 610? Maybe not. Do we not have? Oh no, we have 610 maybe. Very third. But this also fails again. Okay, there's probably not a change. Bump action still 7 to 8. Yeah, the thing is that, what is even that here? Ubuntu latest use action? Yeah, whatever, guess. Okay, now it's gcrust, so now it's, this might take a while. I don't remember if was the build time, at least for x86, the build time to error was 6 or 8, was it 8 minutes? Did this work? I thought the last time it was at shared. I didn't quite remember that it's 2 lines. It's already a relatively good sign, to be honest. Then I only need to, like, because that is after doing so much, that was of course the biggest showstopper of releasing the next release of our amazing Linux distribution. Let's also in parallel see if the patches apply. I mean, it should only be one tiny little small patch, but you never know. We take testing seriously. What does this I believe I had a typo there. That's the first time this happens. Darn it! What a waste of download. Yeah, this for me, as much as I love the memory safety borrow checker and stuff from Rust, I'm not appreciating those long build times, right? Again, this is epic thread-ripping Ryzen 1750X with, in the meantime, DDR5 6000 MT, undervolted, PBO plus 200 megahertz, like everything maxed out as improved cooling and everything, and the stuff is so slow. Basically, I'm longing already for more performance, right? And especially this LTO linking is vastly not parallelized. I slightly wonder why they've shared and like not shared, but probably there's a super good reason for that. Also, I need coffee. So yeah, if we, and that is the sad thing, If this hopefully fixes that, I still have like memtest, right? We updated this. I newly added even EFI, ISO support, and so on. And then just the next month, the GCC update. Actually, we could GCC 13 inline, because I mean it is a little bit undefined behavior and not good style of memtest 86. But yeah, previously the code was complete garbage. Now the code is somewhat okayish, but it's of course not good style to rely on GCC built-ins. Although you could argue, like, if it's already in there, like this is, what was it even? Do I have? The build error? Otherwise, let's quickly get to the build error too. I believe it was memset, and okay, no, this patches. Let's commit this already. Oh, right, I need to be careful. Need to be so careful. Wouldn't be the first time that live on YouTube I committed some random noise. Need to really watch it more carefully. Yeah, there's always one more thing. Like, even if you finally potentially... Wait, no finished building. How did memtest build now? That was... I don't have GCC 13 anymore, darned. Although the error I could have already... I YOLO'd that already. Because even with current GCC, this happened to me. Yeah, higher optimizations do not inline the built-in memset, and which is funny, really, that you optimize for size and it's inlining it. But, nah. Okay, did this build? Maybe that built. Yeah, finished release optimizing targets. Wow. And that is the thing, like other Linux distributions like builds for me, right? Maybe they link something wrong, or they were just lucky. I mean, for some optimization combinations for x86, it also built for me. So yeah, so much to also like finished optimizing targets in 9 minutes, 13 seconds, right? It's like the only substitute for performance is epic thread ripping more performance. Absolutely insane build times. I probably live stream already. Yeah, of course I live stream 40 minutes. Okay, so we can wipe that. That then looks good so far. Let's commit this because I hope I had Rustc. All right, we want to revert that actually. Because I'm not shipping something that doesn't bootstrap for me. And is this the right mapping? Non-debug 0, lazy 1, size smart S, smaller. This is not fully implemented. I just made here mental note it's because GCC does not. What do we have? Size. Yeah, this is a little bit. In retrospect, we should not have named it like this, but now it is what it is. In retrospect, we only 15 plus years ago at Rock Linux, we used these names just because we also supported ICC. And then we thought, like, let's not use GCC O levels because whatever is that maps to other compilers. But in retrospect, this naming is a little bit nah. But I could substitute this all over, but this is what it is now. So, I mean, and given that we make some stuff up, maybe. Yeah. So, because theoretically we should then map, because LLVM supports set, right? LLVM Clang and Rust, but anyway, so fast, all the fastest is 3. Everything else 2 has We should have that. Ah, so yeah, that build, that fixed the thing. So yeah, can confirm that. Thanks for bisecting that, highly appreciated. Like 12 minutes 20. Yeah. So then we can release T2 finally soon. The only thing is, do we wait? I mean, now we probably, this, I pre-tested GCC 13 and it was mostly okay except memtest, plus rediffing our patches. So given that we are 6 months delayed as so often, I probably just wait like another week or two, updates to GCC 13, hope not too many exotic architectures break, like things bug. And yeah, we did some stuff. I also need to implement this directory scanning for auto updates for Firefox, updated JOSES. So yeah, this was LLVM. Can delete that then. Theoretically, should we? Yeah, I name it hotfix dwarf. Also, should we? Maybe I leave the hash in here. I guess that. So yeah, oh darn. One small step for YouTube, big step for the release of T2 Linux. I also have some excessive testing to do, right? I probably, yeah, I realize this YouTube live streams are probably at times too boring. I should test, it's also so much time. I should test on real, kind of sort of real hardware, also PowerPC we can test on QEMU. Because all this work on improving everything helps little when the release is broken, and I didn't test because I thought I let the community test. Like, for me it's good enough if it builds for me. I test what I want to use, and I didn't test PowerPC, and that is of course a real showstopper because it's one of the popular architectures, the more popular architectures, especially with P3 and PowerMax. And yeah, I'm certainly probably not test booting the SG Octane, although theoretically I probably should. Yeah, so much work. Yeah, this is why you should share, like, subscribe, maybe YouTube membership or Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this, learned something. We finally have tackled this annoying regression. I didn't make it up, I didn't fantasize it, but now it's working. Have a good day and night, and hope to see you soon for all the next fun stuff to come.